Next question, open question will come from Mark.
Mark, please. Mark.
Yes. So I too am inspired by the part of the reNEW vision that rejects the politics of accept. And I was so incredibly dismayed to hear yesterday that the New York State Senate, 8 out of 32 Democrats joined all the Republicans to vote against marriage equality. I found it telling that only one of these cowards was willing to speak in defense of using religious bigotry to discriminate against those who are gay. I do not see how guaranteeing that all Americans have the same rights under the law worsens my marriage with my wife. Will you make the commitment to speak up on behalf of all Minnesotans having the right to marry and sign such a bill when you're elected governor?
Absolutely will. The basic founding principle of this country is that all men and women are created equal, that we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I think that embodies what you just stated, is the God-given right, and what it should be in Minnesota, in this country, the legal right of any person to marry another person of his or her choosing. I strongly support marriage equality. I will strongly support it all over the state, and I'll do my utmost to help educate Minnesotans as to why that's consistent with not only the Constitution of this country, but with my values in terms of my faith and my religious beliefs. And when the constitutional amendment was being brought forward by the Republican right-wingers in Washington to ban same-sex marriage, I not only opposed it, but I was one of the probably two most outspoken members of the United States Senate against it. And I took that stand, and I spoke on the floor on several occasions, and I went to the church radio stations here and challenged the bigotry and what I consider as a Presbyterian to be a contradiction with the basic tenets of the Bible. I mean, I reread the entire New Testament to get prepared for this, and I found that, with all due respect to those of you Muslim and Jewish and other faiths, but in my faith, Jesus spoke out and toned 10 times against adultery and 5 times against divorce. He said nothing about relationships, same sex and other sex, and I don't know anybody who's proposed a constitutional amendment to ban adultery or divorce. So you talk about selective bigotry. It seems to me that's proof positive. So I strongly support marriage equality. My nephew just came out as a young gay man. He said his greatest fear was that he wouldn't be able to marry and be a father. He deserves that right, and I will see that everyone has that right, if I possibly can.
And our last question will follow up with John.
Senator Dayton, thanks for coming tonight. I'm John Siekmeyer. I live in Washington County, and I've worked hard for the citizens of Minnesota as a state employee for the last 12 years, so not nearly as long as you, but quite a bit of time. And during this time,
many people haven't done things as long as I have.
So anyway, during this time, it's been tough. I've either been led or not led by governors that believe that government is the problem. How are you going to reframe the public conversation to strengthen our government institutions?
John, I was very honored to receive the endorsement of AFSCME Council 5, half of whose members are state employees, and the others who work in local government, the University of Minnesota, and hospitals and other public institutions. I believe in government. I went to work in local government at a public school in New York City 40 years ago. I'm the only person of the DFL candidates who's ever headed a state agency. I've led 3 of them over those 9 years, 10 years total in the executive branch of state government. I've had the privilege to work with thousands of dedicated AFSCME employees, MAPE, MMA, and others who share my commitment to making Minnesota better through better public services. And as you say, to have to endure over the last 19 years with agency heads who don't believe in the purpose of government. They run on the ideology that the government does everything badly, and then if they're elected, they go out to prove themselves correct. They either defund the programs or they destroy the programs. They come back and forth and say, see, we proved our point. We've made government worse. So re-elect us and we'll make it worse again. And that will stop if I'm governor, and we will clear out the dead wood, all the political appointees, all the failed Republican politicians, all the legislators who once again run against government, all their careers, and then go down and head up agencies and get a high 5 pension It's 4 times or more better than anybody who's devoted 20 or 30 or 40 years of their life to public service as a public employee. It's disgraceful. And I'll put a stop to it. And I will work with, as I promised to ask you, I will remember that we're all in this together, that I can't achieve my goal as governor of a better Minnesota except through working with all of the public employees of this state. We are ranked 34th among the states in number of state and local public employees per capita. We're low, we're efficient. I mean, people get incredibly good quality services given the gutting of these agencies and the defunding. And I'll stand up and strongly in support of all the dedicated work that you and others perform.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.